Hi everyone. I am going to start a new series of videos on my channel talking about just some of the basics of crochet and knit and just yarn in general. So today I'm going to go over some of the different kinds of yarn and the different sizes of yarn and where to look on a label to find it. So to start, you'll hear three different terms when talking about yarn. You'll hear skein or skeen, I say skein, hank, ball, and then a fourth would be a cake. You cake yarn. The difference is, here we have a hank. It is all twisted up. You see this a lot with small batches of handmade yarn, a lot of wools. This one I actually got in Chicago at Yarnify. It is superwash merino wool. It's very nice. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. You also will see cones of yarn. That is more specifically with cotton yarn. So you have this big chunk of yarn, and in it is a little cardboard cone. When I use this, I usually will set it below where I'm working, so on the floor, in something below me, so when I'm working above it, it's not getting snagged, I'm not having to sit and unwind it. So there's that. A skein or a skein is usually one of these or one of these. It's gonna be what you tend to buy from the store. It's what most people tend to work with. That, or they take this home, plop it on a yarn winder, and you get a cake. A cake is very easily center pulled, or if you have some kind of yarn holder that has something where you can put this down and go around the outside. This also is what you will usually get, because you need to take this, the hank, put it on what is called a yarn shift to unwind it, because this is not ready to go. So this is usually made into this. I tend to not, mostly because my yarn winder is broken and I don't want to buy another one right now. I make center pull yarn balls. That is what I do, because you don't need anything except your hands to make this. So that is what I do. Or I just wind it into a ball, and then I throw this in my yarn bowl and work from there. Now the second thing with yarn is when you get a pattern, you're gonna see a size. It's gonna say you're gonna work with a 4 or a worsted weight or DK or light. Don't panic. This is easy. This is the easier part. You're gonna go to your label, and right there is the size. This is a 4. In my opinion, it is a very light 4. It is closer to a 3 than a 4, but it is labeled a 4. So this is a medium, worsted, what have you. This is sock yarn. So this is a 1. I don't know if you can see that, but this is a 1. There is smaller than a 1. It goes 0 to 7. And the way they measure it is how many wraps around an inch that you have I don't remember right off the top of my head how it works. I don't have a 7, we'll be honest. I've never worked with a 7. The biggest I go is blanket yarn, which is a 6. It's called super bulky. 7 is called a jumbo. And then this lovely hank is bulky. It is a 5. Now what you will see too, if you just go and grab the yarn and is like, I don't know what size I need, what size hook do I need, what size knitting needle do I need, the nice part is they will tell you. So you have 2 knitting needles here. I don't think it'll let you see it, but that does say that recommends a 4mm needle or a 4mm hook. Now that is a recommendation. The best thing to do, especially if you are working with a pattern, is go by the pattern. Most patterns have been tested by multiple people and will be able to tell you more easily what hook size to use for what yarn they recommend. But if you are freehanding, generally go with that. One thing I will say, especially with Bernat blanket yarn, you will see on the front here, it gives you a hook recommendation, but also over here, it gives you a hook recommendation. Now this label says 8. This one says 10. That can confuse people very easily. The 8 is for a 4" by 4" square. It is what is going to be easiest for this yarn. The 10 is this pattern, because Bernat does give you a pattern on the inside of this label. There is a pattern, and it is this pattern. This is the hook they recommend for this pattern. That can be confusing. It confused me at first when I was looking at yarn. You do not have to use a 10. Again, if you are going on a pattern, go with the pattern. Whatever the pattern says for your yarn size, for your hook size, that is how you are most easily going to get what the pattern says it's going to, what your end product will be. But if you are just looking for a very simple beginner pattern, or you are looking for a pattern that is, you don't have to necessarily pay for it, you do get a pattern with the yarn, with Bernat blanket yarn. It is, honestly, it's not a bad pattern, but it is a more simple pattern. This one does have it labeled as a 2 out of 4 for hardness, for difficulty, not hardness. So it is up to you. Their patterns are fairly simple to follow. When it comes to terms, they don't use a lot of complicated terms or a lot of different terms. They tend to be simpler terms. So that will be that. Bye guys.